The deteriorating situation around the last anti-government militant stronghold in Syria, Idlib province, has marked heated discussion at the UN Security Council. Our correspondents Caleb Morpin in New York and Igor Zhdanov in Tehran bring us the latest.
As the 15-member body that leads the United Nations assembled to discuss the situation in Syria's Idlib province, we heard some rather emotional language coming from representatives of the United States and the United Kingdom.
There are more babies in Idlib than there are terrorists, and I think that should give those engaging in military action pause for thought.
When Russia and the Assad regime say they want to counter terrorism, they actually mean they want to bomb schools, hospitals, and homes.
Now, the envoy representing the Russian Federation tried to give a more even-headed and clear picture of the actual situation, as the Syrian government is looking to retake control of its province, in which there's quite a few terrorists. They're trying to minimize civilian casualties. This is how the Russian representative explained the situation.
We are firmly under the impression that our Western partners are stoking hysteria around Idlib and in any way are attempting to prevent the fall of the last major terrorist stronghold in Syria. And this is far more geopolitical than this stated humanitarian concern for the protection of civilians.
When Nikki Haley, representing the United States, took the floor, she made some rather heated accusations.
The Assad regime and its enablers, Russia and Iran, have a playbook for this war. First, they surround a civilian area. Next, they make the preposterous claim that everyone in the area is a terrorist. So every man, woman, and child becomes a target.
Now, the actual situation in Tehran is quite the opposite of what we heard from Nikki Haley. This is how our correspondent on the ground has described what's being said there.
The leaders talk really more about civilians in Idlib rather than anything else, really. And there was a big agenda here on the line today. Because, well, when it comes to terrorists, it is pretty much a done deal. Everyone, Iran, Syria, Turkey and Russia agree that they have to be dealt with, that they have to go, that Syria should be freed from them. But what to do with civilians and how to do it when especially terrorists are using civilians as human shields, well, that's just, there's no easy way around it. Here's what Russian President Vladimir Putin had to say about this.
Everyone knows that there are a lot of civilians in Idlib, and we must take that into account. The Russian military and the Syrian army have always tried to guarantee the evacuation of civilians.
According to Russia, Iran and Turkey, the path forward right now is for terrorists in Idlib to put down their weapons. Effectively, this is their second chance. They had been already presented with such an offer from the Syrian government, but, well, they ignored it and fled to, well, this northern Syrian province. So now it is their last bastion. The Turkish president floated a more radical idea, if I may say so, that there should be a ceasefire put in place.
If we declare a ceasefire, this will be a victory for the summit and the most important step in the process. Will give peace of mind to civilians.
But Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, while agreeing that this would be a success, he also reiterated that it takes two to tango. Have a listen.
The Turkish president is right, but we cannot speak for terrorists and the armed opposition. They are not here.
What's complicating things even further is the menace of a chemical attack. The Russian Defense Ministry and the Russian Foreign Ministry both have warned that the al-Nusra Front, that has a 10,000-strong presence in Idlib, it's the dominant faction there, that they are planning a false flag attack to, well, postpone whatever's coming their way and to remain in control of the area as long as possible. The UN has confirmed that they too indeed believe that the al-Nusra Front does have a chemical stockpile in the north of Syria.
The government on one hand and al-Nusra, which is an organization declared terrorist by the Security Council, are having the capability to produce weaponized chlorine.
Well, frankly, before the summit, it looked like that bloodshed in Idlib was inevitable. Well, now there's very tentative hope that it could be avoided.
We also spoke to Richard Black, a Republican Virginia state senator who's just returned from Idlib. He believes the West is focusing on the wrong problem.
There's an uplift spirit among the people. The terrorists have been driven out of many places, and people are looking forward to peace. It's not only terrorists that we need to be concerned about. The West is concerned about rescuing the terrorists, but the Syrians are concerned about rescuing the ordinary people. Many of these, they talk about the families of ISIS and the families of Al-Qaeda who have gone there, but often these are slaves. These are Yazidi and Christian women who have been enslaved and raped, and they're simply passed from one jihadist to the other and impregnated. These are women who need to be liberated. They need to be rescued, and the Syrians understand that, but the Western press portrays it as though somehow there'll be this terrible event where civilians are killed. History does not show that the Syrian army has caused widespread civilian deaths, unlike the situation in Mosul and Raqqa, where the Western forces simply did carpet bombing and killed everyone.